Experiment time. Today we're going to see what effect final proof has on open crumb. Is it going to make a difference? Hi, I'm Sune and I'm a food geek. It seems like a lot of people feel that final proof is one of the most important factors in getting open crumb. They say that during the final proof, the large holes in the crumb will develop. The final proof is the time that the dough spends on the counter after it's shaped before it goes into the fridge for a cold proof or retard. I don't really think that it's a factor, but as always, I'm more than willing to experiment. So I will use the same dough and give it different final proof times. 0 minutes, which is the control, because that's how I usually bake my bread. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and 90 minutes. And here is my hypothesis. The proving that happens during the final proof will also happen for the other doughs just in the fridge. And it will not really have an effect. But let's see. If you're new to this channel, I bake a lot of sourdough bread and I make delicious food from all over the world. If you want to see more of this content, please join me by subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss any future videos. The dough that we're using for this experiment is the same that I use as a base for all my experiments, so that we can compare results across experiments. 80% bread flour, 20% whole grain rye flour, 80% hydration, 2% salt, and 20% inoculation. Note that not all flours are suited for such a high hydration, and there's nothing wrong with that. High hydration is not a goal in itself. Although it helps your bread stay fresh longer, because there's simply more water to evaporate before the bread dries out. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider becoming a member at Patreon. You can also buy some merch or use the links in the description for tools and ingredients. Thank you. Those were the words. This is the experiment. This is an experiment, which means that I won't go into the details like I will with a recipe. If you want the details of my method, go watch my video on my master recipe, which I'm linking in the card above. First, I mix everything for all the doughs in one giant bowl. Then I leave it to rest for an hour. Then the first set of stretch and folds. Then the second set of stretch and folds. And the third set of stretch and folds. Then I put the dough in a huge proofing container and leave it to rise by 25%. After it's risen, I divide the dough into 4 equally sized pieces and pre-shape them. Then I final shape them. The first one goes straight into the fridge. After 30 minutes, the second one goes into the fridge. And not surprisingly, after 60 minutes, the third one goes into the fridge. Finally, after 90 minutes, the last one goes into the fridge. Then I let them retard until the next morning. The next morning, I heat my oven for an hour to 260 degrees Celsius, 500 degrees Fahrenheit with my challenger inside. And then I bake the one that didn't have a final proof. I flip it onto the peel. I score it. And then I put it in the oven. After 20 minutes, I remove the lid and turn the oven down to 230 degrees Celsius, 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I bake for another 20 minutes. When the bread is done, I take it out and I let it cool on a wire rack. I bake the other 3 breads the exact same way. Now it's time to reveal the crumb of each of these breads. First, the one without a final proof. Nice looking crumb. Then the one with a 30-minute final proof. About the same except for that random stuff at the bottom. I doubt it looks that way all the way through though. Then the one with the 60-minute final proof. It looks about like the first one. And then the one with 90-minute final proof. That has more of a lacy quality, which I really like, but still comparable to the first one. Let's look at all 4 at the same time. Now it's time to taste them. Mmm. Yum. Delicious. They all taste great and the same. Okay, so it certainly seems like my hypothesis was correct. Final proof does not help to get a more open crumb. Also, it seems like each bread had about the same amount of fermentation with a year in all. Taste-wise, there's absolutely no difference between the different lengths of final proof. I guess you could assume that'd be more developed taste or a more sour taste, but that didn't change even with the 90 minutes extra proving. I hope you learned something today. See you next time.